Today we're doing a review of the Waterfield Shinjuku laptop backpack. In this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 plus of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. We're gonna pack it out, we're gonna double check its advertised capacity. I'm gonna give you my brutally honest pros and cons. And if you're not quite sold that this is the bag for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because there I'll make some alternative bag suggestions that are close to this Waterfield bag, but a little bit different, because here at Nomads Nation, all I wanna do is help you find the best bag for your needs. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the gist of the Waterfield Shinjuku laptop backpack. Now, if you don't know, Waterfield is a carry brand based in San Francisco. And not only are they based in San Francisco, but they make all of their bags in San Fran as well. So what that means is their bags have a really kind of foundery, techie aesthetic, which is just, kind of the vibe in the SF area. But also because they're made in San Francisco, they're really expensive. And it should be noted, this is my first time reviewing a Waterfield bag in ballistic nylon. I'm gonna have some very strong opinions about that fabric selection in the next chapter. First though, let me run you through some of the top features. We've got a classy, sort of old school heritage silhouette. We've got 1, 2, front pockets, a front panel that has extra volume and capacity built into it, and I'll show you the pros and the cons of such a feature in the next chapter. Half zip opening to the main compartment, a gorgeous golden lined interior, 2 external water bottle holders, but these are water bottle holders, and I'll show you why I'm using air quotes a little bit later in the review. Spoiler alert though, these holders don't fit a lot of water bottles. And a simple but well padded harness system. Waterfield claims the Shinjuku is 16 liters capacity, but here at Nomads Nation, we always double check that. The ball's going here. Step 1, step 2, step 2. Let's try that again. All right, we got the main compartment fully packed out with our factory grade measuring system. First, let's check the dimensions. We got a height of around 17 inches, a width of around 12.5 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 7 inches. And for the capacity, so you see we're at 5, 10, 15, whoa, almost 20 liters capacity. That's very cool because it's kind of rare in the bag niche for a company to understate their capacity. It's very common for bags to be overstated in their capacity. And keep in mind, we only measured the main compartment. So if you add the water bottle holders and the 2 front pockets, all of which are very tight, don't get me wrong, there's not a lot of capacity there, but I'd say altogether, you're getting a very cozy 20 liters, no questions asked. For the weight, I'm getting 2.5 pounds on scale number 1 and the same on scale number 2. And that's one negative about Waterfield is because of the fabrics that they use, they always have really high liters to weight ratio. Typically, I like to see it around 10 liters to 1 pound. So the fact that we're at 16 advertised liters and 2.5 pounds, it's definitely a heavy bag. But then keep in mind, it's also like a 20 liter bag. The bag currently comes in 4 different color or fabric options. This is the ballistic and chocolate leather option. Here you can see the bag when it's empty, and here you can see the bag fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. Margaret's 5'2", I'm 5'8", and Jason Bagmoa is a towering 6'1". And don't worry, Jason Bagmoa, he's scary looking, but he's not dangerous. But also don't worry again, because we're gonna pack out this bag throughout the entire review, so you can see exactly what it looks like when it's fully packed out. All Waterfield bags are protected by their lifetime warranty against manufacturing defects. And for all that, this bag runs around 329 USD. Now, a big note on that is the fact that, like I said, all Waterfield bags are made in California. And that could be something that really speaks to you. Maybe as an American, you prefer to buy products that support your local economy, or that means absolutely nothing to you. But keep in mind, as we are reviewing this bag and the lenses to which we're analyzing that price, that the fact that it's made in the USA is one of the largest contributing factors as to why it's so expensive. And we're gonna be using that price point as sort of the North Star throughout this entire review. So if you can see like the made in the USA and the fabrics and the features, if it's worth what the brand is charging. And if you think that it is at any point in this video and you're gonna make a purchase, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best gear reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the front of the Waterfield Shinjuku laptop backpack. Starting with the aesthetic, and here's the deal. Normally, I love Waterfield bags, and I have kind of a weird relationship with canvas and leather bags, is where I really appreciate them. Like, I want to be able to wear them. But but then I see them on me and I'm like, I can't rock it. So, and that's Waterfield's original sort of combo, is the wax canvas and leather. It's so classy, it's heavy, but holy crap does it look good. And it works very well with the traditional backpack silhouette that they're presenting for the Shinjuku. But on a personal note, I gotta say, I am not really a fan of ballistic nylon with leather. Because here we have another Waterfield bag. You can see the canvas and it just works so well. The whole bag has a vibe. But for ballistic nylon, it's like a modern fabric with the classy leather. It's just a weird thing for me. In theory, I should love this combination, but I just don't think that it works. Just a little side rant. I'm curious to hear your thoughts though. Do you like the ballistic nylon with the leather? Do you prefer it in canvas? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But although I don't love the combo, both fabrics are extremely high quality. This ballistic nylon is beautiful. It's not a Cordura or anything, but it's just got a really nice sheen to it. You can tell it's a higher quality nylon, and ballistic nylon is fantastic for bags because it's very abrasion resistant. It always looks great. It ages super well, and it has a bit of weather resistance as well. And then for the leather, we got full grain, baby. Waterfield's branding, very subtle, imprinted right here on the side. Now let's go ahead and talk about these two pockets. They are both accessible with YKK PU coated zippers. In fact, I assume they're YKK. Let me double check. Yeah, YKK. Now, YKK make the best zippers in the game. We use these branded metal zipper pulls, which are my favorite. I just don't love the way that they look, but they're quite cool because on the main compartment, you can put them together when there's two of them and lock them. So they're very lockable from that perspective. But the other thing to know about YKK PU coated zippers is the PU part. As to a PU is polyurethane, and that's this plastic coating right here. And plastic coatings are great for weather resistance. In our testing, a PU coated zipper can block at least 20 to 30% more weather. And by weather, I mean rain and snow. But they're not waterproof, not at all. But the negative side about PU coated zippers is that they can do this. It's not a guarantee. It depends on so many factors. And I've had comments from people who had PU coated zippers for 40 years and they look brand new. It's kind of black magic. I don't know how it works. It's different factors like exposure to sunlight and humidity and how much usage they get and like what brand makes them. A lot of factors, but something that you definitely need to be aware of for a 330 USD spend. Now, one thing to note is both the pockets are a little tight as to where the bottom one is 8 inches and the top one is around 8 as well. A little bit tighter, but this makes for just a more difficult point of access. A lot of bags might have a pocket that extends the entire width of this front panel, but for the Shinjuku backpack, we've sort of brought that in a bit. And you can just sort of see like, I wanna show you the inside of this pocket. And we have a huge, enormous light, like right there. But even with that light, it's difficult to kind of showcase what's going on inside. And that's a reflection of our inability to get a good light reflection in the pocket just because of how tight it is, right? I'm just trying to emphasize, these are good pockets, but access will be a little bit of an issue sometimes. But one thing helping with the access is this lining right here. I absolutely adore this lining. It's got a golden color. We've got a ripstop design, making it more durable. And you can see the actual ripstop part shines a little bit in the light. This all helps to create an awesome just experience with your bag, but a bit of a highlight effect as well, which makes it easier to find what you put where inside the pockets. Let's go ahead and pack them out. I got a bunch of EDC stuff. Now in the bottom pocket, we have 2 lining pockets and 2.5 pen pockets. There's no way I'm gonna be able to show you what I mean for all of it, but you can see right there where these lining pockets are. This could be a good spot for your sunglasses. Obviously, we're gonna put pens in the pen pockets. I say 2.5 because that one in the corner is tight. We're not gonna make that work. But here's what's cool is that although the pockets are sort of tight this way, they're not tight this way, as to where they have their own volume. So you can see I've got bulkier gears here, including a compressible tote from Peak Design, and I'll throw my gum as well. And you can see it's fitting in there, right? And a lot of pockets on bags will not do this. They're gonna be like super flush and super sleek and not gonna fit your bulky, healthy xylitol gum. And that is further helped by a design decision on this bag that might be a bit controversial. We'll talk about in just a second. Top pocket, we've got a key leash. Unfortunately, this key leash is sewn into the bag and it's not at a very convenient location. And the actual leash itself is quite short. So I'm connected to my retractable key leash that we make at Firo. And then we got 2 lining pockets, good for your wallet, notebook. And then again, volume test, my bulky gum container also fits. Now let's talk about one great thing about this bag in terms of its capacity and therefore its functionality, which is this section right here as to where we have the leather panels. But as you can see, this section is sort of like a gusset. And what that allows for is so much more capacity. As to where instead of this just being like sewn into the sides, and then therefore being very tight, we've got some looseness, dude, that really gives you an enormous amount of functionality. As to where when I was using this bag, I was like, wow, 16 liters, it feels bigger. And that's because it is. We just, measured it. It comes around 20 liters, just in the main compartment. But this is really helping with that. And the front pockets is to where it's just kind of giving them both a bit of extra volume. But on the flip side, I don't love the way it makes the bag look. And we're gonna talk about that in the next section, which we can jump into now. Let's talk about the middle of the Waterfield Shinjuku laptop backpack. Starting with the bottom, you can actually see it's nice and flat and has a bit of padding. And what this means is, as you've seen throughout the review, the bag itself stands pretty well. Not perfectly, depends how it's packed out, but if you accept that it's a thinner base, right, this is not a very deep bag. The deeper the base, the more of a foundation you have to actually stand on from the bag's perspective. But you can see right here, like I got these 2 front pockets packed out and it's still standing. Not a lot of bags can do this. We'll double check how it self-stands though when the bag is fully packed out so you can get kind of like an idea of how it works in the full standing spectrum. And another thing we're gonna do in a minute when the bag is fully packed out is test out how big of water bottles and umbrellas these side pockets can actually hold. So getting into the main compartment, you can see again, we have a YKK PU code zipper. Great if you live in San Francisco and you want a bit of extra weather resistance. Not as good if you are super concerned about longevity of those zippers. It should be noted though, a PU coated zipper that peels is still very usable. It's just more of an aesthetic thing. Now in the main compartment, we have a great setup. I love the gold lining. That's just so rich and beautiful. Top zippered pocket here and 1, 2 sleeves here. Let's start with the tech sleeves. I got a cutout of a 16-inch MacBook Pro and this should fit nicely, yeah. You're probably not gonna get anything bigger, but it's a nice size as to where my smaller 13-inch MacBook Pro felt secure as well. Sometimes with these laptop compartments that can fit larger laptops, the smaller laptop kind of gets like swallowed. But this laptop compartment does a good job of accommodating all laptop sizes and protecting laptops at different sizes as well. As you can see right here, we've got a very fine and scratch resistant microfiber material, which obviously is gonna help protect your laptop. And also just at this price point, like you wanna feel like, you got a bit of bang for your buck. These sections also have some nice padding. Let's see if my 13-inch tablet fits in here as well. Ooh, absolutely does. The laptop compartment too is pretty well protected. And so we have a bit of a false bottom, which helps protect your laptop in case your bag falls. And a couple other notes in the design, just like using and opening the bag. As you can tell, the guys at Waterfield know what they're doing. Reason being, I love how they didn't sew the laptop compartment here on the sides, just giving it a little flexibility, which makes it easier to grab your laptop as this then sort of extends out. But it's not a super hard padded fabric as to where it's gonna get like bent over time. It's just soft and gonna go with the flow, which is nice because sometimes this panel at the top, makes it harder to open your laptop. So having this, maneuverability, it's just a really nice laptop experience. I think that's one of the things that Waterfield does best. It's just like tech protection, tech access. Yeah, that feels really nice. And then the other thing I love about this design is that it knows what it is, as to where we're only a half zip opening. But the zip where the main compartment goes down is right in between these 2 pockets. So instead of having one large pocket here, which then would compromise access if you had something bulky in there, Waterfield did a great job of splitting these pockets here where that main zipper is, therefore giving you that access. It's these little things, but as a self-proclaimed bag nerd, I promise you, it's night and day in terms of your experience with the bag. This lining pocket has got a bit of volume in it, so you can fit something bulkier in there, like your sunglasses. But here's where things get a little darker with this bag, as to where it's not a full clamshell style opening. This is as much opening as you're gonna get, and it just feels a little limited. As to where, again, I wanna show you that there's a pocket right here, and it's kind of just difficult to get it out of the way and to show it to you just because of the access limitations. But yeah, we got a little side pocket here, which is great for your water bottle holder. I got a 24-ounce Columbia. You can see that fits with room to spare. Let's test out the 1-liter Yeti. Also gonna fit with room to spare as well. Now, if you're looking for a way to organize your water bottle inside of your backpack, this is a good option. But if, like me, that scares the living out of you because you're like, wait, water, $2,000 laptop, together, no. Then we'll test out the water bottle holders for that situation, for people like me and you in just a second. So for a 16-liter bag that actually packs like 20 liters. This is gonna be basically what you're carrying on a daily basis. You can go ahead and throw a couple of tech pouches in there. We'll get my Lockbee canvas journal, hoodie on top, and that is going to be about it. You can see now, fully packed out. We're still self-standing pretty well. Overall, I give this bag 3.5 on the self-standing scale. The best bags are the ones that are like made out of concrete, basically, right? Because then it won't collapse into itself. But overall, you can see self-standing like a champ. Now let's end this section by talking about these side pockets, which are definitely not water bottle pockets. You can see right here, this is made with ballistic nylon. There's no elasticity to this fabric. I can just barely fit my 24-ounce Columbia. But these just don't feel like water bottle pockets, dude, unless like you carry a very thin bottle. It's definitely gonna be a spot that you're just using, you know, maybe for your Kind bar, quick access snack, or potentially for an umbrella. Even then, though, a little tight of a squeeze for the umbrella, but I think it's definitely designed to be more of an umbrella pocket, kind of keeps that smart, flush look. And now you are ready for work at some San Fran tech company. And last note is you can see how these side panels are now opening up, as to where if this was a normal bag, this would just be flush and we'd have 5 to 6 liters less capacity. But now because of this, it's really opened up, but I just don't love the way that it looks, as to where now it's kind of just, yeah, I don't know. It's like these exposed ribs almost. So A+ for functionality, C- for aesthetics. There's always a give and a take with design choices. This is why I love bags so much. And speaking of which, before I jump into the next section, I want to let you know that if you are enjoying this review and you're new to Nomad's Nation, you might be a bit of a bag nerd as well. Or at least you just really love travel or everyday carry. And if that's the case, I want to let you know that here at Nomad's Nation, we don't just do epic reviews on the YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomad's Nation newsletter. And that's where we take like this whole gear thing and we just like take it to the next level. As to where instead of like an in-depth review, we're looking at the industry from 30,000 feet out. And I'll be delivering to your inbox on a weekly basis. The biggest drops, most important industry trends, a little bit of industry gossip, limited edition collabs, and everything in between, from the tiniest micro brands to the biggest retail brands. I'm obsessed with this industry, and I want you to be too. And the best way for me to do that is just to give you all the goodness with our newsletter. And if you want to sign up and learn more about what's happening in this amazing industry, just look for this globe emoji in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the back of the Waterfield Shinjuku laptop backpack. Starting with this, one of my favorite parts about the bag, the top handle. And I know what you're thinking, Aaron, a top handle? That's ridiculous. And it's true because you don't really carry the bag like this with a top handle. But you do end up maneuvering your bag a lot with a top handle, such as this. And when you're paying probably $350 plus shipping for your bag, you want it to give you a sense of joy when you touch it at certain touch points. And this leather, full grain at the top, it just feels amazing. Plenty of room to grab. Again, I reviewed a lot of bags. I know these little things go a long way. I love the execution of this handle. The full grain leather is to die for. Now let's talk about traveling with the Shinjuku. Because you can see right here, we have a great luggage pass-through slider, which is super easy to use. And I love everything about this for a handful of reasons. First of all, it's strong. It's sewn in to the back panel at about 6.5 inches height, meaning it's just gonna be very strong. That's a lot of like sewage. So this thing's not gonna pop out from you like midway through your trip to Hawaii. Second reason I like it is because how you saw how easy it was to slide on and to slide off, even when the bag is fully packed out. And the third reason is I've seen a lot of luggage pass-through holders utilize the back panel, but oftentimes it makes it noticeable when wearing the backpack, as to where this section is then like bulkier, it just like sticks out a little bit more. But Waterfield, in all of their ninja-ness, was able to remove that. It's a phenomenal luggage pass-through holder, which means this is actually a great traveling companion. Think about it, it's standing on your suitcase upright, which means you can easily grab whatever's in these two pockets. It looks nice, so really good for a business trip. Definitely a great personal item. For the back panel, we're pretty minimalist. There's no features, there's no hidden pockets, there's no lash points. We just got 3 inches width for the shoulder straps and less than 1 centimeter of depth. So I'll say from my perspective, I think the width is fine, as to where these straps will not be cutting into your shoulders. Nice landing pad, right? I could have used a bit more depth though in that padding, less than 1 cm. It's not a lot, but I will say they did pick the right padding as to where it's pillowy, it's cushiony, but also has a little bit of rebound to it as well. Same with the back panel. We've got some padding here. As you can see, padded a little bit of ventilation here. And the mesh that they use is also very well ventilated as well. But one thing I didn't like is the bottom we have metal hardware and this metal dangle stopper. I actually like the metal hardware and the metal dangle stopper. I think it works well with this because here at Nomads Nation, we have been protesting dangle since 2019. You tell him, little guy, keep fighting the good fight. And one thing I didn't like is actually this webbing, but I just realized why they did it. Let me explain. This is a cheaper webbing, which kind of sucks at a $330 bag. It's not bad, right? These are like little things that bag nerds like me notice. Maybe we shouldn't. But you know, this is easily one of the parts of the bag where you feel like, skipped a corner there. But I will say, cheaper webbing usually has a better grip to it, as to where the nicer webbing is very silky and smooth. And silky and smooth shoulder webbing does not go very well with hardware like this that's made from metal. Smooth metal, smooth webbing, just kind of slide off. And then unfortunately what you'll end up doing is your bags are just gonna be doing this on you every 10 seconds. So because Waterfield picked metal hardware, they went with a more coarse webbing, which makes sense, I guess. I personally would have gone with plastic for the buckle and a really nice silky nylon webbing. Overall though, it's a really comfy bag. Nothing exceptional, nothing that's gonna blow your mind, but a comfiness that gets the job done. And we're gonna talk about the comfort a bit more in the overall scores section. But first, let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Waterfield Shinjuku backpack. Pro number one is gonna be the high quality materials, whether it's the ballistic nylon, the full grain leather, the YKK zippers. This is a premium bag through and through. Pro number two is the impressive amount of volume this sort of gusset design gives us. And pro number three is just gonna be the well-designed and well-protected tech compartment. But every bag has cons. Here's some cons you need to consider for the Waterfield Shinjuku. Con number one is the price point and overall value, as you're paying a lot for a bag that you can probably get cheaper if it wasn't made in the USA. Con number two is gonna be the aesthetic compromises of this gusset system. It does give more volume, but it just kind of looks a little off to me. And con number three is just gonna be some access compromises as to where these top pockets feel a little short and therefore tight sometimes. And same thing with the half opening style for the main compartment. Okay, let's mash up all these pros and cons and give you my overall scores. Should be noted, these scores are completely personal and just based on my experience with this bag compared to my experience with other bags. For value, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. And it's not to say it's not high quality, but you can probably get a bag like this at this quality for like $250, $225 from other brands. You're paying a premium for Waterfield products to have it made in the USA, which is good if that's important to you, but it's bad if you're just comparing it to the overall market standard, because it's definitely gonna lessen its overall value. Score number two is for comfort. I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. That's a really good score for comfort. Like it's comfy. I think that maybe slightly more depth on the shoulder straps would have got me a little more stoked. And adding a sternum strap, just for old people like myself who are getting bad backs as we're aging. But it is a pretty comfy bag, I'm not gonna lie. My overall score is gonna be a 3 out of 5. It's one of the rare 16-liter bags that actually packs more like a 20-liter. 16, 15-liter bags can feel so tight, so we've got a lot of capacity and functionality with the volume of this bag, and it does offer a unique aesthetic and a cozy wear and great tech protection. Just overall, that inflated price tag that you're paying for Made in USA and a couple of quirks, final answer, 3 out of 5. And just a reminder, if you're thinking about picking one of these up or you wanna learn more information, the best way to secure the best price for you and to show some appreciation for Nomads Nation and this review is to make your purchase with the first link in the description. Because remember, if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold on the Shinjuku, let's talk alternatives. First up, if you're new to the channel, you should definitely check out the Nomads Nation leaderboard video. This is where I sit down with the Nomads Nation squad and we all pick our favorite bags in different bag categories. This is a great video for you because you can see what the best options are on the market, but most importantly, from different user perspectives, because everyone likes different things in bags. I've gone ahead and linked that above. But if we're really close with the Shinjuku, here's two alternatives that do things just a little bit differently. My first recommendation is gonna be the Waterfield Tech Folio. This is a great pick for you if you like the look of the Waterfield style, but you agree with me that this gusset system is just a little, it's just not good aesthetically looking. So you want something that's a little bit more sleek and refined. And my second alternative is gonna be the Troubadour Matrix. This is a great pick for you if you like a sleeker, business-friendly backpack, but you wanna see it done in a bit of a different way. Troubadour is a British brand. Their gear is super sophisticated sophisticated, but they just kind of do it a bit differently. Honestly, I'm a fan of all three bags. They all got their unique pros and cons. You just got to figure out which one works best for you. And to learn more about the two alternatives, you can just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you for watching. I'm Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.